If you pick the wrong paper call niche, you will burn through thousands of dollars and months of your life chasing calls that nobody wants to buy. But if you pick the right one, you're looking at $500 to $1,500 a day just for sitting in between two people who are already looking for each other. And in this video, I'm going to break down the only 4 paper call niches worth your time in 2026. The actual payout ranges, the economics behind each one, and if you stick till the end, I will show you exactly how agents on our platform are closing 20+ deals per day. My name is John Ventura, and for the past decade, I have been building and scaling pay-per-call businesses. This is what I do all day long. So when something is a bigger opportunity than normal, I catch it early, and I give you the sauce. Now, these 4 niches are what I have seen work the best of the past year, and every single one of these is on the trajectory that is only going up from here. So the first one is legal, specifically personal injury and mass tort. It is the highest paying vertical in all of pay-per-call by a very wide margin. We're talking between $150 to $400 per qualified call for personal injury, and $200 to $600 or more for active mass torts campaigns like Roundup, Camp Lejeune, and PFAS litigation. Meaning a single qualified phone call in this space can pay you more than most people make in a day at their job. And the reason the payouts are that high is because the math works out for the buyers. A personal injury law firm signs one car accident case, and that case could be worth $20,000 to $75,000 in contingency fees. Some catastrophic injury cases settle for millions. So paying $200 to $500 for a qualified call that has a real chance of becoming a signed retainer is a no-brainer for them. They will pay that number all day long and ask you for more volume. And what makes legal so perfect for pay-per-call specifically is that when someone gets into a car accident or gets hurt at work or finds out they were exposed to a toxic chemical, they do not go fill out a web form and wait 48 hours for someone to email them back. They pick up the phone immediately because they need help right now. And that kind of urgency drives the conversion rates through the roof. Inbound legal calls convert at 25 to 33% from consultation to signed retainer, compared to 5 to 15% for regular web leads. Which means if you're the person routing that call and the law firm picks up the phone, the deal is practically done before the conversation even starts. So the money on the buyer side is massive. Law firms in America spent over $2.5 billion in advertising last year, and that number is climbing towards $3 billion. Digital ad spend in legal alone grew 84% from 2020 to 2024. All that money is chasing better ways to acquire clients, and pay-per-call is where most of it is headed. And then you add mass torts on top of that, where every year there's a new drug recall, a new environmental contamination case, a new class action, and every time one of those hits, the demand for qualified calls in that tort explodes overnight. So if you're positioned when it happens, you do not even have to go looking for buyers. They come to you. Now that is the highest paying niche. But the next one I'm about to show you has something legal does not have, and that is built-in emergency factor that makes people call within minutes, not hours. And the payouts might actually surprise you. The second niche is home services, and specifically the premium corner of home services, which is water damage and restoration. This is the one most people overlook because it does not sound as sexy as legal or other niches we have on the list today. But the numbers tell a completely different story. Affiliates in this space are earning $70 to $1,000 per qualified call with an 85% booking rate on exclusive calls. And if you think about it, that makes perfect sense because water damage is an emergency. When a pipe bursts or a basement floods, homeowners are not browsing the internet for options. They're calling the first company they can find because every minute that water sits there is costing them more money. And insurance pays an average of $11,000 per water damage claim, which means the restoration company on the other end of the call knows that one job could be worth tens of thousands of dollars to them. So they're happy to pay you a premium for that phone call. And the market fundamentals behind all of this keep getting stronger. About 2.5 million water damage claims get processed by insurance companies every single year in the US alone, and that number is going up because of climate change. And with more flooding, severe storms, and pipe bursts and extreme cold happening every year, the water damage restoration market alone is expected to hit $50 billion by 2026. But water damage is really just the entry point, because the broader home services industry is over $650 billion annually, and every corner of it is hungry for inbound calls. HVAC companies are paying $20 to $100. Roofing companies are paying paying $100 to $258 per call, depending on the project. And pest control pays $20 to $108 per call. There are over 35,000 restoration companies nationwide competing for the same emergency calls, and that is just one sub-niche. So the pool of buyers in home services is massive, and it only keeps growing. And across all home services, 63% of inbound prospect calls convert to booked appointments. Homeowners are 9 times more likely to call than fill out a form when both options are available. And the reason I bring this up is because at AdSync, we have been running campaigns in home services for years. And what I can tell you from the data is that when you combine the emergency factor with high ticket job value and a massive pool of buyers who are all fighting for market share, you get a vertical that prints money for anyone who can consistently drive qualified calls. Now we have covered the 2 niches with the highest pay per call payouts and the most emergency, but the third has something neither of those have, and it is the reason some of the smartest pay per call operators I know are quietly building their empire around it. And by the way, whether you want to broker calls or you are an agent who wants to start receiving them, I will leave a link in the description where you can book a free demo with my team, and we will walk you through exactly how calls are getting generated, qualified, and routed straight to you. All right, so the third niche I was talking about is debt and tax relief. Now the per call payouts here look more modest on the surface, which is somewhere between 15 to 70 for debt relief and 45 to 70 for tax resolution. But this is where the economics will put a smile on your face, because on top of those per call payouts, most networks pay enrollment bonuses of 150 to 250 when that lead actually signs up and stays active. So your real take home per successful call is way higher than what the base payout suggests. And the pool of people who need this is not slowing down either. Total consumer debt right now is over 46 trillion, and over 60 million Americans are carrying significant credit card balances. The debt settlement market alone is valued around $10 billion and is projected to nearly double to around $20 billion by 2034. And on the tax side, it gets even bigger. The gap between what Americans owe the IRS and what they actually pay is about $630 billion every single year, and the IRS is coming for it. They collected $77.6 billion through enforcement last year, up almost 14% from the years before, because the government keeps pouring more money into collections. More enforcement means more people getting letters from the IRS, more liens, more levies, and more people in a panic picking up the phone to find someone who can help them. And that panic is exactly what makes this vertical so effective for pay per call. When someone gets a notice from the IRS saying they owe $30K and wages are about to be garnished, they do not casually browse the internet for solutions. They call immediately, because even if the actual timeline is weeks away, it feels like an emergency right now. And that emergency shows up in the numbers. Connected debt relief calls convert to billable calls at 25 to 35, and billable calls convert to actual enrollments at 8 to 13%. And tax relief is so strong because the service itself is something people genuinely cannot do on their own. Offers in compromise, installments, agreements, currently not collectible status, these are complex IRS programs that require professional help. And tax relief companies charge $2,000 to $7,500 or more per engagement. So a single customer is worth serious money here. You get seasonal spikes around the April 15th filing deadline, and then consistent demand year-round from ongoing IRS enforcement. And the thing I love most about this whole vertical is that it is truly evergreen. When the economy is bad, people take on more debt. And when the economy is good, people spend more, which eventually turns into more debt. So either way, the demand never dries up. Now those first 3 niches are all massive opportunities. But the 4th niche I am about to show you is the one closest to my heart. It is the one I built my entire career around, and it is the one where I have personally watched agents go from struggling to close 2 to 3 deals a week to closing 20 plus deals every single day. And the demographic tailwind behind this niche guarantees it's going to keep growing for decades. The 4th niche is insurance. And if you have been following my content, you already know this is where I live. I'm talking about Medicare, health, life, and auto insurance is the backbone of everything we do at AdSync. And it is the vertical where pay per call is not just growing, it is completely replacing the old way of doing business. Payouts in insurance range from $20 to $40 per call for auto, all the way up to $30 to $100 or more per call for Medicare and health. And the conversion rates are where this gets crazy, because health insurance inbound calls convert at 45 to 50%. Think about that. You pick up the phone, and nearly every other person you talk to buys your product. That is a completely different business than calling 50 people to close one. That is 10 to 15x better than web leads. And there's a reason for that. People need someone to walk them through deductibles, networks, coverage limits, premium structures, all of that before they feel confident enough to buy. That is why most insurance consumers end up calling a business even after searching online. They try to figure it out themselves. They get confused and they pick up the phone. People want to talk to a real person before making a big financial decision, and that is not changing. Now, what gives insurance an edge that none of the other 3 niches have is the built-in demand calendar. Medicare annual enrollment period and open enrollment period create massive spikes in demand every single year, where millions of Americans are actively shopping for coverage. And compliance rules require a licensed agent to be involved in enrollment, which means phone calls are not just preferred in this vertical, they are mandatory. On top of that, the population turning 65 is growing every single year and will keep growing for decades, which means the demand for Medicare and health insurance calls is only going in one direction, and that's up. And because insurance customers renew annually, you're not just closing a one-time deal. Every customer you acquire keeps paying year after year after year. So you have high conversion rates, built-in seasonal demand, a growing population that needs coverage, and customers that stick around. And after spending over a decade on this side of the business, watching agents either crush it or burn out, chasing bad leads, I knew there had to be a better way, and put all of this together. That is why I built our platform. So instead of making agents pay for 10 different tools, a CRM, a dialer, call tracking, a lead source, a marketing agency, we put it all together into one platform. And the only number you need to think about is, what does it cost you to talk to a new qualified person? Our average agent has seen a 10 to 20x increase in production because they stopped wasting their day chasing people who did not want to talk to them and started spending all of their time in conversations with people who already picked up the phone because they wanted to buy. And if you want to see how this works for your business, I will leave a link in the description where you can book a demo with our team of experts. But whether you use our platform or build your own system, pay-per-call is not a trend. It is the new standard. So pick one of these 4 niches, build the relationships, and stop chasing leads and start attracting them. And if you want to learn more about pay-per-call and how to build a business around it, that is exactly what this channel is built on. So subscribe to not miss any future videos, and I'll see you guys in the next one.